Isn't it funny how we can remember that one time we peed our pants in fifth grade? Or the time when that girl you asked out of the prom rejected the invitation? Or that one time you accidentally let loose a Freudian slip by calling your female boss mom. And yet you can't remember where you put your car keys 2 minutes after walking in the door or what you had for breakfast yesterday. This is not by accident, this is by design. Today I want to talk to you about how emotions and memories are intertwined and how it can lead to a meaningful and fulfilling life if you know how best to operate within them. Memories and emotions are heavily intertwined when it comes to our nervous systems and our brain's wiring. For starters, emotions are not just feelings, they're a physiological response to information and data in your internal and external environment that your body has picked up and is trying to convey to you. Your reflexes are faster than your rational mind because it was how we survived as a species. In terms of survival, it was better to just start running when you saw a lion rather than try to rationalize what the lion might do. But from an evolutionary perspective, survival wasn't only about clever thinking, it was also about two pretty important factors. Number one, speed of response. And number two, make sure you never have to deal with that thing ever again. In this case, let's focus on number two. If an emotional response is strong enough, the parts of your brain associated with memory storage will kick into high gear and do its best to recall the details of the moment as it's happening. These moments, in a sense, get written into your brain, and it can be very difficult to forget them. Two extreme examples of this effect can be seen in people with alexithymia and people with PTSD. Alexithymia is a psychological condition in which people have a reduced capacity for experiencing and identifying emotions in their own bodies. Studies have shown that alexithymic individuals actually have a reduced ability for memory storage and detail recollection versus non-alexithymic ones in events that are often tied to heavy emotions. In this case, the lack of the ability to physically experience the emotion of the event reduces the ability to store the memory of the event. On the flip side, an extremely traumatizing event on the flip side, an extremely traumatizing and intense event can leave heavy emotional scarring in a person's memory and nervous system in the form of something like PTSD. You see this most often in veterans of conflict and war or survivors of things like sexual assault or physical abuse. The reason I bring up these 2 points about alexithymia and PTSD is to make the case that on some level, we are biologically wired to store memories and experience in some proportional degree to the amount of emotion experienced in that moment, in the case of emotional specific memories. So in the grand scheme of life, allowing yourself to experience and feel the full range of emotions available to you in events that you yourself choose to engage in is one of the best ways to store memories and by extension, create stories. And thus in the long run, perhaps a meaningful life full of stories. The best way to think of this is to notice when you find yourself stepping back from new experiences, like learning a new activity or hobby, deciding to take that chance to ask for that girl's phone number, having that conversation that you've been avoiding, whatever it may be. If you notice yourself shying away from a new experience out of anxiety, fear, or concern that you know deep down you probably could do, think less about the sunk cost that might happen if you don't like it or the fear of it being a mistake, and more so on the idea of whatever happens after this, I bet it'll make a really good story. And with enough stories over a long enough period of time, it's easy to feel like you have and are living a meaningful life. So, what are your thoughts? Leave me a comment below and don't forget to like, subscribe, follow on whatever platform you're seeing this, and send it to a friend as word of mouth is the best way to spread my content and help me out. Thank you so much for listening.